Aloha, what's up, and welcome to my channel. I'm JayDreamerZ, and today we're talking about volcanoes, fringe theories about volcanoes. You have to excuse the train sound. There just happens to be a train going past right now. But hey, what's up? Good to see everybody. I did figure out how to fix the chat, so I can toss your comments right up there. Easy as pie. Kesher, hey, glad to see you made it. Good to see you. Val, everybody. All right, sweet. Let me just double check everything and we'll jump into the topic. If you're new to my channel, I talk about the cyclical resetting of our world that I call the plasma apocalypse. And it's got various avenues to it. Essentially, if comparative mythology had a baby with alternative history and things that we have forgotten collectively over the years, that would be the plasma apocalypse. It also encompasses all of the different apocalyptic scenarios. One of those is volcanoes. And I do talk about a concept that I call the plasma volcano, which I'm going to be touching on a lot today. But first, I just kind of want to talk about this. I want to talk about volcanoes in general, especially how academics portrays them. Right? So in academics, if you were to go to school or you were to even do a quick Google search, essentially the theory sounds kind of like this, that the land was flat and then a little bit of lava came up and it spilled out and then it dried up and then some more lava came out and it spilled out and it dried up and spilled out and dried up. And basically over time you have a pyramid or you have a volcano. I'm also going to teach you how those two words are interlinked. They're the same, essentially. But yeah, that's the academic model. And I've been questioning academics for some time now and trying to refigure out my own theories on these things. I'm going to go and make myself a wee bit bigger. There we go. Whoa, hey. All right, sweet. Hey, thanks for joining me. I appreciate everybody. So here's one thing, okay? I'm just going to throw this out there. Just the first thing that comes to my mind when it comes to asking questions, and it's okay. Just because we question things doesn't mean that we don't believe in it or that we've taken some sort of a stand against it or anything. It just means that we're looking into it. We are asking questions, which is good, which is the path of a truth seeker. So one of my questions initially, right? I've got many, right? For myself, really, they're more like rhetorical questions. It's not like I really want to go ask some diehard academic about their theories, which is also what they are, their theories, okay? I know that people like to throw around words like facts and empirical evidence. We don't do that here on my channel. So you can have your facts if you'd like to, but in your world, your facts may contend with my perspective and my research. You know what I mean? All right, sweet. So here's one of my questions, right? We always see these images of these volcanoes, right? And here's the really interesting and strange thing. It's really a simple scenario. If volcanoes are made because the lava keeps spilling out, and I know that there's many different explanations, right? And I'm just using this as to boost us in the direction of some of my theories that I have. But if lava is what creates the volcano, right? The lava is spilling out, hardening, and then over the years, you imagine that it creates this cone shape that shoots up and jets hundreds upon hundreds of feet into the air at extreme angles. How does anything grow on it? Like, let's take any volcano, for example, Hawaii, right? Hawaii is a forest. It's a flourishing jungle, right? The lava turns into igneous rock, which is like glass. Have you ever tried to plant something in glass? You know what I mean? Like, it should be an enormous, giant glass-looking, black, dark mountain. Not saying that there aren't any, because I definitely think there are. But most volcanoes that we're familiar with, there's trees growing on them and plants and stuff. Where did all that come from? You know what I mean? If it's the lava creating the volcano, the entire volcano, stands to reason, would be made mostly out of lava or dried lava or hardened lava or cooled lava or whatever you want to say. I can't imagine trees growing up out of the lava. Not that it's impossible. I'm just saying there's a lot of earth like in these areas where these volcanoes are supposed to have just grown up out of the ground made of lava. You know what I mean? It should be a solid, hard rock area where nothing is growing, especially because there's a bunch of fiery goodness coming out of it quite often. You know what I mean? And the active ones. So yeah, that's an interesting question that I had myself. This all came about. I was actually watching the new Graham Hancock special that he did for Netflix this morning. I wanted to see what the big deal was about. It's not bad. It's not bad so far. I've got some, I've got my own unique perspectives where he has his, in a couple different ways. For example, I believe that literal, physical, actual giant humanoid beings walked the earth, whereas Graham Hancock says that he doesn't believe in the concept whatsoever. He just thinks it's symbolic. And that's fine. That's totally cool with me. That's his perspective, and I glean from everybody. I glean from the world. So I take what resonates, and I hope you do too. Anyways, his cosmology is totally different too. But he's got some good stuff. And one of those things was he touched on the concept of these volcanoes. And what he started off doing was he started by researching I just lost the word. He started researching, He started researching what do you call, well, pyramids basically. You know what I mean? In different areas, right? He's researched many different pyramids. Now, how is a pyramid directly related to a volcano? The word itself relates because the word pyramid literally translates into fire inside. However, that word fire or pyre can also be translated as light. And he said something really interesting during this documentary. He said that one of these pyramids that he was researching was called the Mountain of Light. And what it is they discovered that this hill was actually a temple, that it was actually seemed to be a man-made structure instead of just being a regular hill, that over time vegetation had grown over it so much that people no longer recognized it as a pyramidal structure, but just as a part of nature, because nature won over, right? There was an apocalyptic cycle. Something happened to all those people and nature regrew all the way around it. So it didn't have the appearance or the form of any type of man-made structure, especially that of a pyramid. But once they started surveying the area and using ground-penetrating radar, they saw that indeed it was some sort of a structure that had a hollow inner portion. And this hill was called the Hill of Light, or the Mountain of Light, which I was like, wow, that's insane, because that's a pyramid. That is a volcano. That's what this is. That's an accurate old world description of what you're looking at over my shoulder right now. It means fire inside. That word fire also means light, right? It depends on the context, but usually they go hand in hand together. So the pyramid and the fire inside of the mountain or the volcano are the exact same thing. The unfinished pyramid is also the exact same thing. What you're looking at right here, this is an unfinished pyramid. This is a pyramid without the top, and you always have like the light at the top of it, or the all-seeing eye, or rays of light and stuff like that. Sometimes they amalgamate the two, they put them together. But the unfinished pyramid is a symbol for a volcano, right? The unfinished pyramid is the volcano of the world, which, as we've talked about in some of my past videos, is Mount Meru, the highest, tallest, black magnetic mountain in the world that's described in ancient myths and legends across culture and time. And it is said that the world tree grew up out of that exact same spot, which means if the world tree is a plasma formation, as I speculate, that means that it is Mount Meru, being a physical, actual mountain on Earth that erupts light or plasma up into the heavens, creating these cosmic formations, which means that Mount Meru is the ultimate volcano on Earth. It's a plasma volcano, as I like to call it. So that had me asking myself a lot of different questions about Mount Meru, because at first I jumped to the conclusion that that would be the only plasma volcano. But then I opened my mind and I kept on researching, and my research led me to see that it's very likely, or it seems very likely to me. Oh, that's another thing too. I had mental notes as I was watching Graham Hancock, right? Throughout the whole show, everybody is saying we this and we that, right? Just collectively speaking for all of humanity. Lots of absolute statements too. You know what I mean? Either that or a lot of like rhetorical questions disguised as like open-mindedness, but it's really telling you like, this is exactly what it is. You know what I mean? Like, what if instead of a volcano, it's an inner earth entrance? It's not really what if, you know what I mean? They're just telling you it is. They're just leaving it in question form, but it's an unfinished question, which irritates me, but whatever. But yeah, they say we all the time. Well, we know, like they always say, we know. Doesn't that crack you guys up? We know that volcanoes are just full of lava, and so is the earth. You know, like, I don't know that. Who are you talking about? Who is we? We is all of you academically minded people. We is all of you who are on the same team. You're referring to we, just like whenever you say, we won the Super Bowl, high five. Nah, bro, you did not win the Super Bowl. Some other people did. You know what I mean? You're just on the team. You're on the cheering squad. You know what I mean? So when people say we, they're cheerleaders for usually mainstream academics. What's up, everybody? Hey, good to see you. Wow, lots of people in the chat. So we're talking about volcanoes, right? What are they? Does this type of a thing actually just grow up out of the earth into this steep, mountainous, pyramidal form? How does that happen? You know what I mean? I don't buy the mainstream story that it's just oozing out, and then over time the ooze, you know what I mean? Like it gets higher up and higher up and higher up. I don't know. There's something not right about that. I'd like to see that replicated, actually. So let's talk about a different theory. Well, actually, let's build a bridge. First and foremost, what's happening here when these mountains explode or when they let off steam or whatever that's pressure release. The earth is releasing pressure from inside to the surface where we live. Guess what? You live on the surface of the earth. There are those who live inside of the earth. That's like saying we live on the roof of the house, right? So that's one of the reasons why I feel like it's such a strange place to be. We live on the surface instead of inside. But anyways, the inside of the earth needs to depressurize just like the outside. Now, the outside can only depressurize, to the best of my knowledge so far, whenever the sky is opened up. When the sky opens up, that's our barrier above. Inside of the earth, the crust or the surface area, crust, is their roof of their heavens, and it depressurizes from their sky. Their sky allows, you know, for all of that built up pressure to be released. Let's see. So where am I going to go with that? So this is pressure release, this activity. When we get closer and closer to our pressure release, you'll probably see a lot more of these things exploding, right? Because the inside of the earth, like it can't really release any more pressure, and it's all coming up, boiling up to the surface. And then pretty soon we're not going to be able to release any pressure because it'll be too tight. And then we go through that electromagnetic reversal, right? And the electromagnetic dome or barrier or shield that protects us from the plasma sphere around our world goes down. And when that happens, all of that millions, maybe billions, I have no idea how many, but it's a lot of weight just in the atmosphere alone. Atmospheric pressure is going to push all of a sudden and be released against the vault of the heavens, and it explodes wide open, and the surface then depressurizes. So Mount Meru is going to be, hey, Cassiopeia, thank you. Super appreciate you. Mount Meru is the ultimate volcano. Now, it's really interesting, the origin of the word volcano. It's directly related to Baal, one of the Canaanite gods in the Bible, I believe. It's Baal or Bahal. And it's very interesting, too, because it's also related to, like, Baal Khan means the priest of Baal or Bahal. More properly, it's more of a guttural sound. It's Bahal, 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 right? Almost like bagal, but it's bagal, right? Like that. Over time, it just became Baal. That's the cowboy way of saying it. Thanks again, Cassiopeia. All right, so the word Baal is in the word volcano. It is vol instead of Baal because of dialect. Oftentimes, various regions will replace the B sound with the V sound. That's my V. You like that? Oh, excuse me. So anyways, sometimes they'll replace their B with a V. So instead of Balcano, it becomes Volcano, which is exactly where the origin of Lord Voldemort. That's the root of his name too, if you're a Harry Potter fan. But anyways, Bahal Khan means priest of Baal or Bahel or Baal or whatever, right? Also, if you reverse it, it would be cannibal, right? Cannibalism. Khan-i-Bahal is the priests of Bahal. And the priests always, they offered up sacrifices to their gods for whatever their reasons were, right? And whatever that sacrifice may be, it was commonplace for the priests to partake of the sacrifice on behalf of God, right? Because it normally, you know what I mean? Like, especially under the blue sky, the food was just left out, and they can't have their God not like obviously eating it, so they ate it on behalf of God. So if they were to offer up a human sacrifice, they would partake of that too, and those became the Kahan or the Khan-i-Bahals, the cannibals. Cannibals. What's up, TP and Tree? Good to see you. All right, cool. So let's talk about a theory that I have, right? Does the Earth just grow up into the sky? Yes. I said it kind of ridiculous because I almost wanted people to say like, no, right? You got to be careful. You got to use your reasoning and go with what resonates, right? Oh, clever vicious cycle. Hey, thank you. Aloha. So can the Earth shoot up into the sky? Yes, I absolutely think it can. I think everything's possible, but let's figure out how this could be done alternatively. So instead of what we have been told, which is that the lava just spills out into like a puddle, right? Which ultimately it's liquid, man. Like it should just flatten out and just be spread out. There shouldn't be a cone shape. There shouldn't be a mound or a hill or anything like that. It should just liquefy off to the sides like liquid does, right? Or fluid or whatever it is. Anyways, so I have a theory where these unfinished pyramids come from, right? Let's take a look at it. I want to give you a visual example because those are always fun. Let's do a visual, shall we? Boom. All right, sweet. So this YouTube channel I have recommended a time or two. It's called Mr. Too Tough 2. Hope he doesn't mind. Amazing content. Way not enough subscribers in my opinion, but I'm definitely subscribed. The dude's got excellent research, and specifically he does electrical testing, right? For things along the lines of the electric universe theory. So let's simplify this. I'm going to show you something. What you see here. Oh, I just lost my mouse. Oh no. Why does this happen? Why do I have the most technical difficulties during live streams than anybody I've ever seen in my life. All right, 1 second. I got to unplug the mouse and plug it back in. Sorry, I'll be right back. God. All right, so let's try this again. Thanks a lot, computer. Gracias, computer. Big time. Hold on, I'm going to fix this up. I'll be right back. Fudge, I can't even tell where the mouse is. There it is. All right, never mind. Apparently, I fixed it. I don't know how that happened. Anyways, isn't this great? It's not live TV. It's not TV. It's real. This is how YouTube's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like, not everything is scripted out and written down and stuff. It's supposed to be on the fly, real people, you know, being themselves. So this is me. All right, cool. So what you see here right here, see the arrow? Boom, I got the arrow back. This is all sand. So you could just say this is the earth on a small scale. Above this, he's got a spoon, a metallic spoon that he's bent over, and the top of the spoon is connected to an electrical source. So he's about to run an extremely strong voltage through the spoon, and we're going to see how that affects the earth or the sand underneath it. Let's check this out. All right, boom. Let me pause it real quick. The moment, you have to imagine this on the worldwide scale, because one of these days the sky will open up and that plasma, that electricity that is being kept out right now by what is commonly known as the magnetosphere, is because plasma is repelled by a strong magnetic force, right? So that magnetosphere, or that magnetic shield or dome above our world, is keeping the plasma, the electricity, at bay and keeping it from grounding itself, which it wants to. Electricity loves the earth. That's why you have a marriage between the sky god and the earth goddess, in various cultures from time to time. And those are a part of how volcanoes are made too. But anyways, the moment that he turns on this electrical current, it goes down the spoon, all the way down to the very bottom of the spoon. And then what happens is you see sand immediately going everywhere. Watch this. Check this out. Now imagine this is the apocalypse, okay? And boom, the roof of the world cracks open. You turn on the electricity comes in. What instantly happens? Dust. There's dust everywhere, all over the place, right? What's happening right now, the reason that dust is just shooting off all over the place is because it is being levitated. It is literally jumping up off of the earth, off of the ground. That sand is just flying. It is levitating because of electricity. What's going on is that there's a strong negative polarity coming through the electrical current on the spoon. I'm guessing when it comes to this, okay? I could be wrong on some stuff, so if I am, take it with a grain of salt. Or a grain of sand, if you will. So the strong negative charge goes down through the spoon, and then all of the positive charge that is in the earth or in the sand or in the dirt or whatever you want to call it, mud, right? All that stuff. The positive charge gets attracted to it. It is compelled to go meet up with it. It wants to establish a circuit or a connection between the two. So it lifts up to go meet that electrical force. It's not just the sand itself, but it is mostly the positive force that is inside of the sand. So immediately all the sand just starts jumping up. But look what happens if we continue playing. Can you see what is forming underneath the spoon? That's because of a strong electrical charge. If you put this on a larger scale, this is how mountains can be made instantaneously on Earth. This is how I believe, well, this is a good bridge for us to take the next step to volcanoes. So, boom, he turns off the electricity, and what do we have left over? We have mesas. We have mountains. Takes the spoon off. Some of the excess debris falls down, creates little mountain ranges. In some places he's done this and it stays solid throughout all of it. Watch, I'll show you another example here. So he's going to turn this one on. He's going to turn the electricity on up here. Sand goes everywhere. And immediately the earth reaches up to meet the electrical charge, right? So whenever you see the various mesas and sand dunes and all of this stuff, it's possible it can be properly understood and explained with a different perspective. If you have more of an electric universe mindset, or if you see things and how things work in the quote unquote spiritual realm or the electromagnetic realm, or however you like to call it, you can figure out how these things are possible. All it takes is a change of the conditions that we are so used to that we call normal. Make those conditions abnormal, and you make it so that abnormal things can now become normal. Like mountains just shooting up out of the ground. Oh, Pamela, thank you. Super appreciate it. Pamela says, this is epic. I'm glad because I'm nervous. I don't know why. Anyways, so let's get back to the volcano thing. Keep this in mind, okay? I might reference this once again. Huge shout out to Mr. Too Tough 2 for all of his scientific experiments and hard work. Excellent channel. Highly recommend you go check him out. Let's go ahead and get rid of this for just a bit. Halle Julia, hey, says I love you. Thank you. Super appreciate it. Halle Julia. Hallelujah. That's funny. All right. Hold on. Let me focus here. Let's see. What was I on? Slide. Is it this? Yes. Okay, cool. All right. Thanks again. Halle Julia. And Susan Donahue. Also, thank you, everybody. I super appreciate all the support. All right, cool. So now, what I just showed you is different than this. Okay, but it's a build to bridge. Okay, that's not how I don't believe that that's exactly how volcanoes are created, because I was showing you what happens when a strong electrical current comes down from above and the earth reaches up to meet up with it, right? Now, imagine this, right? Okay, are you ready? Imagine this. Imagine that you have a flat surface, right, that has an opening. Or semi-flat. It doesn't really matter the shape of it, but you have an opening in the earth that leads down, cavernous opening that leads down into the hollow recesses of our world. Do you like how I say things a little bit different? Instead of saying the H-E words together, I say hollow recesses of our world. Isn't that clever? Anyways, I think it's fun. Not to toot my own horn. Anyways, we have the earth and we have a cavernous system, okay, that reaches all the way down into the hollow recesses of our world, where the legends say there is an inner world sun. We'll call it that. Okay, I'm just being careful about the words that I use. I don't like Wikipedia articles slapped onto my video. All right, anyways, so you have a cavernous opening, right? When the electromagnetics of our world reverses, that inner earth energy shoots outward in every direction. Well, it goes up, I should say. Okay, so instead of energy coming down, it goes up after the next reversal. When that happens, light from inside of the world, energy, plasma, in the form of plasma, makes its way through any inner earth cavernous opening that it can find, giving rise to many different smaller forms of the Fountain of Youth, smaller versions of Mount Meru, all over the place, wherever there is an inner earth entrance, right? Now, they will be less powerful than the largest one, which is at Mount Meru, which is in the traditional location of the Garden of Eden in Hyperborea, or beyond the northern winds, at that mysterious island that has since disappeared off of the North Pole on all of our maps since about the 1500s. Weird. And weird how people just don't account for that, right? There used to be land, a whole continent that is now just gone and nobody talks about it. It's just whatever. Yeah, where'd the North Pole continent go? What? Bro, that's a myth. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, who's the first one to say that whenever it was common knowledge? I wonder. Anyways. All right, so what happens? So here's what happens, right? I don't have a diagram. I could do a diagram. Let's do it. I'll just draw a picture. Let's try that. All right, I'm going to draw you a quick little concept picture. All right, boom. I'm just going to use red. Okay, so imagine this is the earth. Pow. And then you have a cave or whatever that goes down into the earth, right? And there's many. There are many of these that go all the way down. Some are big, some are small, some are windy, some are straight, etc. Oh, it's hard to see that. Okay, well, that's terrible. Hold on. All right, I'll draw it up here. All right, footpow, you got that? You got the hole that goes down into the earth, boom. And then the land continues on, right? Now, let's get a different color, because I believe that the light inside of the earth is probably along the blue color spectrum, is my guess so far. So we'll pick blue. All right, so now we've got the inner earth energy shooting out, jetting out at ridiculous speeds. let's just pretend like this is Mount Meru, okay? Pretend like this is the North Pole. All right, so this inner Earth plasma jets out, shoots up, all the way up to the sky, we'll say, right? Making the world tree or a tree of life or a fountain of youth or a well of knowledge or whatever. All right, so it shoots up. Now, meanwhile, right, there's all kinds of interesting science that's happening, all kinds of interesting things that are happening with all of the reactions because of this event, local and the one at Mount Meru specifically, right? So let me go back to my red color. All right, cool. So here's the same principle. We're going to use the same principle as the strong electromagnetic current coming down and the sand reaching up because it's attracted to it, or the earth reaching up, right? This time it's coming up out of the earth itself, which means that this nearby earth is going to start following suit. I don't know if I can draw this very well, but it's going to start going up right around the edges. This is two-dimensional, so imagine it wraps all the way around, right? It's going to be pulled up. The earth from over here in this area, just off to the side, is going to be pulled up and closer. Eventually, it's going to go up because the first sand, the first area of earth around it is going to go as close as it can, and then the following earth is going to roll up, actually. It's going to go uphill, right, to get closer to that electric discharge, right? So it's going to start creating a cone shape, basically. And the stronger it is and the longer it lasts, the taller it will be. Mount Meru is the tallest one of all, they say. And it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger until eventually it settles and it finds its little happy medium place, right? And this is how I believe volcanoes are actually created. Now, if this is true, there's a lot of implications, aren't there? Right? Now, imagine this. I just drew you a volcano, what they would look like under the red sky. When our world goes through its electromagnetic shift, the sky will not be blue any longer. We'll have a totally different color spectrum, and the sky will be more along the red spectrum, right? And that's when the sky is red, the earth shoots out these blue beams, okay? Or pillars or poles or columns or rods or whatever you want to call them, right? And they create all kinds of interesting shapes, you know, in the local regions and stuff. And people come up with stories and they cartoonify those things. And these are the areas, these become holy and sacred caves, okay? They also become caves of treasure. Why? Because like I said, there's a lot of different things happening, how the earth is responding to such a strong electrical charge, right? Let me also throw this out there because I don't want to forget this, okay? But I believe, it's one of my theories, and it's just a feeling that I have, right, so far. You know, I've got a little bit of research done on it, but it's a huge feeling that I have. Comes from right here. Boom. My feeling is that this plasma that is inside of the earth is cold plasma. If that's true, that means that you could go in there during the beam, that you would be able to go in with the beam of plasma. It wouldn't incinerate you if it's cold plasma. You'd be able to go in and take a shower in pure life energy, basically. Okay. So that's one of the awesome little byproducts. The other one is that it's a strong electrical charge that's running through this, right? And that's going to have an effect on the geology of what's happening inside. Basically, in a nutshell, this is creating precious stones on the inside. And that's why quite often the legends and the rumors of specifically Mount Meru or holy mountains, Benbe, sorry. Hey, what's up, Benbe? Welcome to my channel, Benbe. That's why they are known as like cave of wonders or cave of treasures. And there's always these precious jewels or precious gems that are associated with them. I will also say this. Many of those precious gems under different lighting conditions glow. Imagine that. They actually glow. They're little glowing rocks or gems or whatnot. They turn into lights, basically. It's pretty interesting. All right, sweet. So this is what a volcano would look like underneath a red sky, underneath the time of magic, underneath the time where the world is reinvigorated with life instead of the time of tiredness and a lack of energy like the day we currently live in under the blue sky. So if this is true, it stands to reason that these are all inner earth entrances. That these are places where those who are inside of the earth during their apocalyptic cycle or shift or whatever would be able to come up onto the surface and populate the surface world. That's interesting. Why? Because it lines up exactly with thousands of myths and legends of the creation story of various cultures worldwide. Oftentimes, those native inhabitants and tribal people have described that their ancestors came up out of the earth. And oftentimes, they'll be very blunt and say it was a volcano. Like, we came up out of a volcano, basically, right? And there's a lot of references to this type of a thing in fiction and fantasy and stuff, right? A Journey to the Center of the Earth. They go in through a volcano that I think is in like the Greenland area or something, right? Like that, right? So are the volcanoes always, if this is true, what are the implications? Well, that means that volcanoes are not always filled with lava, right? Because if human beings could come and go as they please, it's not always full of lava. That means that something different is happening whenever it retracts and goes back into the earth to recharge, right? Something that is making or creating or seems to be making lava, right? Also, many of these inner earth entrances that we call volcanoes have since sealed up. The top has been sealed up, right? Well, you have to imagine a few different things, right? There's different theories, and I'd love to see all of yours, by the way, in the comment section. All right. Why does it seal up? Well, one of the theories that I have, there's lots of good ones, but one is that all of that debris is up inside, is in the sky. The sky is going to have all kinds of stuff up in it. It's going to be a huge mixing bowl. And that has to do with everything floating during the depressurization event, right? Everything is going to float up into the sky or up, if you're inside of your house, you'll float up to the roof or whatever. But everything will float. Many things, not everything, but most things, right, that are not attached to the earth or inside of it are going to float. It's going to be an increased buoyancy factor in our atmosphere, basically. And what that means is there's going to be a lot of debris that's up there. You saw the video when he first started it, how all of the dust just poof goes all over the place, right? That's going to be our sky, right? That's also one of the reasons why I brought this. So some people were asking about, some people were asking me questions like, I get questions like, how do I survive the apocalypse? When is it coming? But one of those was a legitimate question. About gas masks. What kind of a gas mask should I buy? So I want to take a quick time out to give you a little lesson on gas masks. Okay. I'm actually, let me take off my hat. All right. You guys are like, man, I never seen him without his hat. All right. So here's a gas mask. Okay. The most important thing when considering a gas mask, there's two portions to it. This is the container. This is what filters your air and allows you to breathe fresh air. Okay. This is the most important part, right? Next is this right here. The main thing about this is you want a gas mask that will create a tight seal around your face, right? You want one that fits, basically. So if you're going to put this on, I'm going to try it with the headphones. I don't know if it's going to work. But what I do is I stick my hand in the back, right? And I just kind of do that so that I can make room for my head. Slide it up over your dome. Okay, I'm still not done. All right, that's a good tight seal. I can feel it already. Now, how do you know that it's a tight seal? You have to test it. Right now, I can breathe. If I put my hand over this part right here and try to breathe, I cannot breathe, okay? Now, the first thing you want to do, you put it on, cover it up, and breathe out. You're clearing it out. All right, I'm going to take this off. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Sorry about that. All right. So basically what I was saying is you put it on, right? You establish your seal, tighten it up, tighten up the straps and stuff. Take a deep breath cover the hole, and then breathe out as hard as you can so that you clear out all of the air that's inside of the mask will push out through the crevices in the side of the mask. And then you keep your hand on it and you take a big breath and you suck in, and you should not be able to breathe. That's how you can tell that it's sealed tightly. You guys like this? Isn't this fun? All right, cool. Well, I just wanted to show you the gas mask. If there's any other questions about it, feel free to ask me. But when you do your research, you actually want to look for the canister, okay, the filter on it, and you want to see what types of gases it filters out, because different canisters, different filters will filter out different types and sizes of gases and stuff, right? So you want to get one that's good for you. I was looking for one that filters out nitrous oxide specifically, you know what I mean? But it's going to be a good idea to have one of these, not just because of gas. There's all kinds of gases that will be released from the earth itself, and new gases that will be created up in the sky, right? Because that beam not only has interaction with the earth and creates volcanoes and stuff, but it reacts with the nitrogen that's in the sky and the oxygen and helium and all that stuff. They all ignite because of this bombardment of electricity that comes up from the earth. All right, sweet. Dr. J, what's the yes? I guess I am, huh? I am a doctor. I accept. All right, sweet. So that was, these are also just good for the debris too, okay? Because you saw all the dust being kicked up into the air whenever that guy turned on the electrical charge, Mr. Too Tough 2. This is going to be huge, okay? So for those of you who are wondering, how do I survive? What do I get? Get yourself one of these. I think it's a super good idea. I've got one for me and my son. Obviously, if you have a child, you need to get a child-sized one. I recommend looking into like the Israeli ones. Also, one of these might help too. All right, just regular old goggles. You know, they could be motorbike goggles or whatever. But these will be helpful, I feel. You know, especially if you don't have a gas mask or something, some sort of lens to protect your eyes. Just protection in general. And this is why you see people dressed up like this in post-apocalyptic movies. They know. Like, I mean, at least I know that they know. They might not know that they know, but I know. Or I feel that way. All right, cool. Sweet. I got to show off some of my fun things. Let's see. What else? Volcanoes. What else did I want to say? I'm trying to remember. Yes. Okay, so what are the implications, right? That means that although some volcanoes seem like they're inaccessible because of the danger of the lava that's inside of them, right? Other volcanoes are plugged up. The debris that is way up in the sky, which is mud and sand and boulders are being made up there, right? You guys ever see that, by the way? I don't know if you've heard of my boulder origin theory, but you ever see random boulders out in the middle of nowhere, right? You're like, what is that doing way out here or at the top of a mountain, right? What is a huge boulder doing at the top of a mountain? Like, where did that come from? You know what I mean? Nobody rolled it up there. It fell. It descended from the sky where it was created, because all that mud and debris and stuff are going to turn into globules floating up into the air, right? This is why so many of our rocks are globular, just like many people think the earth is. But anyways, the rocks are globular because they float when they were liquefied, okay? When they were not rocks, they were malleable and they were floating up in the air. And whenever they get hit or struck by a strong electric current from above, probably, they petrify. Their bond changes instantly and solidifies. It creates a stronger bond and it petrifies them. And then, of course, whatever doesn't get sucked up out of our world will float back down and land all over the world. Some places that stuff lands it's gonna pile up into volcanoes and mountains and stuff like that. And some of them might get plugged up that way. It's just, you know, one of my theories. All right, cool. So that is the volcano origin theory. And if that's true, that means that almost every volcano on Earth could possibly be an inner Earth entrance or a gateway to the underworld. One that you could, given the right conditions, traverse and explore. But also keep in mind, others might be coming up out of it. They might have their own good reasons why they don't want to be down there anymore and they want up here. And then we're trying to get out of here and we go down there or whatever. Anyways, this is what it would look like at Mount Meru as well, right? At the center of the mountain. And this is why Adam and Eve were said to have been buried in the cave of treasures, or at least Adam was buried in the cave of treasures, in a cave on the top of a mountain. Well, the top of a mountain, if it has a cave, means it's a volcano. You know what I mean? It's not like at the top, but off to the side. It can't be the top. You know what I mean? If it's off to the side, because then you have to have more on top of that to create a cave that you walk into. But if you don't walk into it and you just jump down into it, or you climb down or whatever you want to do. Also, I feel personally that like the concept of what modern academics calls gravity acts funny around these things, right? Especially the most powerful, largest one. Did you know that many volcanoes worldwide are naturally magnetic? You know what could cause that magnetism? The mountain has to be charged. Where do you think it gets the energy from? To charge it up and give it that magnetic charge. It comes from inside of the earth. All right, let's see. Let me jump in the chat real quick. We got Jen in the chat who says, JayDreamerZ, do the masks come in smaller sizes? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. You'll have to do your own research, but yeah, they have ones for kids as well. And if you have a tiny face, I got a big old dome, so I need a huge one. Melissa says, Jay, you are so smart. You make a lot of things make sense. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I don't want to measure my intellect or smarts compared to anybody else. This is just my path, and I excel at it because it's my passion as well. Okay. I like helping. I love, I like letting my own personal light shine, however that looks. You know what I mean? If it means people think I'm smart or whatever, then I accept. Thank you. Humbly, gratefully, appreciate it. But I would like that to be something, hopefully, that would inspire others to find their passion and to go out and do what they love to do, right? JayDreamerZ, question marks, says, JayDreamerZ, is a spare canister a good idea? Yeah, I'd say so. How long does one can last? No idea. I have no idea. You'll have to do that research on your own. All right, well, sweet. I hope that this made sense. Okay, if you guys have any questions, feel free to question my theories as well, right? I mean, ask questions and legitimately offer up alternatives or join the discussion. Philosophy died a long time ago. I'm bringing it back to life. All right, until next time, thanks for watching. I'm JayDreamerZ saying good vibes and goodbye. So hard to